Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So today I'm just gonna continue to work through my little makeup queue. So today I kind of was in a mood to use this Rogue eyeshadow palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. I have not been having the greatest of times getting my makeup to look great lately, so today I have a full face of skincare on. I'm extra hydrated. Hopefully things can work out a little bit better. Start with my primer. So first I am going to put on some under eye primer, Jaclyn Cosmetics under eye primer. The one that I tried to depot and then it didn't really work out. And I did put on like an eye cream and everything too. My eyelids can be extra hydrated today. I'm gonna use this Flower Nose primer. My skin is pretty well hydrated. I did put on a lot of moisturizer, and so I would like to have a little bit of blurring now. I thought it was going to be like a one-for-one product dupe of the Dominique Cosmetics primer that I love so much. It is not quite hydrating enough to qualify for that, but this is the closest I have come to finding a similar product, and it is very, very blurring. So I do really like it. I think this will be a really good primer for me once it's summertime. I am currently testing out using this under my makeup. And it feels nice. I can't tell, of course, if it's actually doing anything yet. I've only used it a couple times. I'm going to use my Luminous Silk foundation. I believe it's been reformulated, or at the very least, it's been repackaged and renamed. I have just this really old mini, and I have it in shade 2, which is generally for me. I forgot to use under eye corrector again, so oopsie, that's okay. So I'm just going to use my concealer from the Sem. I'm just going to use it today. I'm using the salmon color to focus on correcting my discoloration. And then I'll take a very tiny amount of the beige shade here and use that to kind of try and cover the tear groove a little bit more. Now I'm going to go in with eye primer. I'm going to try using my Rare Beauty eye primer today. I wonder if maybe the reason it's suddenly starting to dry my skin out is just because this is an old eye primer. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is probably like two and a half years old at this point, and I actually am probably about 75% of the way through with it. So it could very well be that it is dry now because it has literally just been open for that long. And I'm probably gonna just buy a new one during the Sephora sale and see if the consistency is back to what I remember it being. I'm deciding that I'm gonna try and focus on using this first until I use it all the way up. I'd like to just go ahead and finish it and be done with it. So this is one of the things that happens to me when I use my pomade and a pencil is, as you can see, I accidentally drew on some pretty thick eyebrows. It happens. The good thing is that the palette I'm using today, I'm probably gonna end up with a pretty intense eye look, so the eyebrows will be balanced out later. Okay, I zoomed in ever so slightly just so that you guys can see the eyeshadow a little bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this Rogue eyeshadow palette. So to start off with, I'm going to use a Blend Bunny B5, and I'm gonna start off with this shade, and then I'm gonna start off with this shade, and then from there I'll start using the shimmers. So I'm gonna start off with shadows, that really mossy desaturated green, and I'm gonna start by stamping that out here. At first I thought I was gonna do like a really dark shade all the way into here, but I just did that fairly recently. So I think I'm gonna go for more of a diagonal gradient instead. Yesterday was the day that I filmed with the Diveroon Cosmetics Moth in the Moon, and I had an extremely frustrating experience with the mattes. So I still don't really know what happened. I am gonna have to mess around with that palette more, but it was just really, really bizarre how badly the mattes performed on me, especially because you can literally find YouTube footage of the mattes looking just fine on literally everyone else except me. So I really don't know what happened. I am 99% sure it has to do with my eyelids just being really dry that day, my skin just being really dry overall. Now that my foundation has had time to set, you can see that this Luminous Silk foundation, even though it's my favorite, it looked so good in the start, but now it's settling into my pores and emphasizing my texture and it looks dry. I don't know what's going on with my skin. I really, really, truly don't, and it's really frustrating that I cannot seem to get anything to look good on my skin right now. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the lavender, which is called Subtle. Well, it's not really a pastel lavender, pretty desaturated, but it's not, this wouldn't have enough white in it to be considered a pastel lavender, but it's a very desaturated light purple. For the Druid Cosmetics look, I put a lavender right there as well. This one so far seems to be behaving a lot better. I am going to go ahead and try and see what happens if I powder my face. I am just very annoyed by this right now. I really want to try taking the dark blue Cunning. I want to try using this to deepen up the green and add just a little bit more color interest to the look. I'll go ahead and take it on the lower lash line. Yeah, my eyelids are still really dry. Really frustrating. I feel like there's nothing I can do to remedy my skin. Oh, and the powder that initially fixed my skin, but now suddenly my skin looks bad again. What is wrong with my skin and everything else? My eyelid is very dry and crepey today too, even despite everything I put on it. I don't understand. Like, it is just beyond frustrating that my skin has not been cooperating with my makeup. I don't know how to fix it. I feel like I haven't had a good makeup day in like 2 months now, and I am just so done with it. Okay, I'm gonna go into Stealth, which is a desaturated pale blue. There is a little bit of green to it though. Again, not quite worthy of being called a pastel, but it is very light. It has kind of a foggy feeling to it. This is a very unique shade. And I'm going to use this to blend out a little bit of the look. And I like how adding it up there kind of just adds this really like hazy effect to the overall eyeshadow look. And then I do kind of want to blend out over here. Hopefully I don't look like I punched myself, we'll see. I'm gonna go into a Blend Bunny before now, and I'm gonna work on darkening up this outer corner. As you can see, it is still a little bit too like light for my liking. So I'm gonna go into Assassin, which is this like charcoal near black, and I'm going to use this to add some darkness. That is so awkward. I was supposed to go like out. Oh well. Yeah, I feel like my eyeshadow is going out in 2 completely separate angles, which is just so, I look so dumb right now. I'm gonna have to go in with some kind of powder foundation to fix that angle because that is just ridiculous. I don't even know how I managed to do that. Yeah, you can see I'm having trouble getting the eyeshadow to look opaque and true to pan because it's just not wanting to really stick down onto my eyelid. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back into shadows, which is that green, and I'm just gonna keep packing on more of the green to make it a little bit more visible. I feel like I just have so much like texture. There's so much texture, all these like little tiny bumps all over my eyelids and my skin. And then I'm gonna go back into Stealth again. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into a powder foundation. I'm going to use my Urban Decay powder foundation, and I'm going to use that as like an eraser. So you can still kind of see a little bit of it, but it's gonna be a little bit less like jarring that it's pointing straight down at the ground, because that's just weird. And I am gonna go ahead and use a little bit to clean up over here too. Got a little messy over here. Okay, and now I'm gonna see if I can take this in a different direction. And I kind of want to put a little bit of it on the lower lash line. I feel like that looks like a bruise. Scratch that. I don't think I'll do that after all. Thought it would work, but I don't think it's gonna work. Okay, now it's shimmer time, so I'm gonna go. I'm really hoping that these shimmers can come through for me. They look really pretty. Fantasy Cosmetica generally has really nice shimmers. They do feel like they have some moisture / oil to them. Here's what they look like. Really pretty. Hopefully these wear all right. I'm filming early enough in the day that I guess I'll get to find that out. I'm kind of over shimmers that are super oily. I'm filming at like 4:30 in the afternoon, or at the very least that's about what time it is now. Yeah, it's 4:30, so I have lots and lots of time to wear this and see how it wears. So I'm gonna go into Deception, and I'm gonna use a brush for all of these. This one seems to have the strongest like base, so I'm gonna use this first. I'm not sure how well it matches with the green, but that's okay, I don't really care. I just wanted to use all the pretty shimmers. What can I say? I think Sneak Attack might have been the better option to use. So I'll use that to transition between the two. Yeah, I should have used this one. That one would have worked way better. Oopsie, oh well. Although the red is, looking from the front, do you see how that red cast is not helping my case here? Am I gonna ruin my look by putting on shimmers in the wrong spots? Is that what I'm doing today? I cannot get anything right. Oh my god, look at that, see? So that was a mistake. I'll take Sleight of Hand up here. This is what happens when you don't plan and you decide you just want to use everything. You end up making a mess. I'll have to fix this outer corner shenanigans. This red, it's not a good look. Okay, and then lastly, I do want to put Trickster on the inner corner. I did know that for sure going into this look. This is a very pretty shade. I love coral pinky shifts like these. I did not mean to screw that up so badly, so I'm just gonna try and cover it up with a little bit of the matte green, just to try and make it a little bit less egregious. Maybe if I also add a little bit more stealth. Yikes, I don't know how I can recover from that. Okay, I think that looks a little bit better, but I definitely did not want to have to put eyeshadow literally all over my upper eyelid area, because now it just looks messy and I'm not really the biggest fan of that. I'm gonna go back into my powder foundation now. I just can't seem to get a good makeup video out lately. I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm very sorry. It's not for lack of trying. I guess it's just not really been my, I guess it's just not really my year this year. Okay, that looks a little bit more controlled now, and I was able to more or less cover up the red cast. Feels a little bit out of place to me just because the red cast will really interfere with everything else. I'm not so sure where I would want to put that. Putting a blue shimmer on top of green eyeshadow didn't do me any favors either, so I do sincerely apologize for this look kind of turning into a mess. It was very much unintentional, but it happens. I am going to go into Trickster, and I'm just going to see if I can use this to kind of just add a little bit of glimmer and try and see if that can help. Or well, actually, maybe I'll try using Sleight of Hand just for the UV effect, see how that can help kind of cover up some of this. Yeah, I think that helps It just adds a nice little bit of color interest and kind of covers up some of that mess. Like, oh my gosh, the outer corner is so muddy. It is insane how chaotic this look ended up turning out. Which I guess serves me right for trying to put so many shades onto my eyelid. I just got really overeager and wanted to use as many shades as I could. Serves me right, I guess. I'm gonna put a little bit more of the inner corner shade onto my eyelid as well. Using these really dark shades here in Surge, Lush, Linger. I think I'm gonna use Linger. Yeah, do you see how adding that darkness kind of helps to offset the muddiness, because now there's something even darker to contrast. I'm gonna go ahead and probably pop something in the waterline just because otherwise my waterline is really cutting the look in half. I'm definitely gonna put on some false lashes and then I'll be back to finish off the face of makeup, see if I can try and fix my skin. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with my skin. Okay, well, I'll be back in a few seconds. Okay, so this is going to be my finished look. I have on some doe lashes. I ran a teal eyeliner through my waterline, so now you can see that the waterline no longer distracts from the look. I also did go back and reapply my shimmer eyeshadow on the lower lash line because my eyelash curler took it off, and then I got mascara like right here, and to take that, and I had to take that off, so yeah, I just reapplied that. Again, I do apologize, my looks have been so subpar lately, and this seems to be no exception to that. Okay, I finally decided to just go ahead and move everything around so that I could dig out some blushes that I really just don't like that I don't have access to. Anyways, I have a couple of cool toned options that I think might work for today. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start off trying this lockup blush first and see how this works. And then if I need to use anything else on top of that, I will. I believe the lockup blush is kind of like a cream to powder, so I'm gonna take this denser brush here. It's one of the Spectrum Hello Kitty brushes. I don't use dense kabuki-ish-esque brushes like this very often since I don't use brushes for foundation, but I'll use this today. Yeah, you can see it's like almost like a kind of like a dead-ish tone. It's so gray, it almost makes me borderline look like I'm dead. It's such an interesting tone of blush, but I don't necessarily know if it's for me. Like, what the heck is my skin today? It's really hard for me to gauge how good this blush actually is gonna look on me. Yeah, I feel like my skin is really like dry, so it's really hard for me to tell if the blush actually is working. Anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to using some kind of powder blush to see if I can add some brightness to my face. So I'm gonna go in with the Para 14 Pastel Lavender, see if I can use a pretty generous amount of this all over my face and brighten things up. I'm pulling up little flakes of my own skin too as I apply the blush. Like, I just don't understand. And like, I exfoliate and everything. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to get anything to look good on my skin right now. I'm going to use the Lily by Red Love Beam Blur Cheek in 05. It's a very unique kind of shade. I'm gonna use this to kind of go over the outer perimeter of my face. Yeah, nothing is sitting on top of my skin very well right now. It is so frustrating. Even my eyebrow pencil is just looking very textury. I am going to be testing out this new highlighter from Chanel. Where did I put it? It's over there. So this is the Ocean Illuminating Powder, aka a highlighter. Comes in its own little dust bag, has the black packaging. I've been interested in trying this out. You can see how it has a slight blue reflect to it. I'm just gonna use my finger and apply a delicate layer on my cheek. I saw swatches of this that made it out to be very, very glittery and translucent, so that is exactly what I'm expecting. Glittery highlighter, you either like it or you hate it. Most people are either firmly where they are like, yeah, I love wearing glittery highlighter, I wear it sometimes. And then either that or you're like, no, I hate glittery highlighter can go die. Like we're one or the other. I love glittery highlighter. I think there's a time and place for it, and I don't mind using it sometimes. Ooh, that's really pretty. And it actually is very different from Aria from Flower Nose because the glitter particles are so much more dispersed and smaller. And I'm gonna take a little bit on my nose. I'm gonna use 04. This is called Grapey Way. I'm gonna use this today so that I can just keep my lips nice and hydrated. It's also just kind of the first thing I reached for on my desk. I do really like these. I do like to put on a second layer. I focused that on the center of my lips. And then I do really like to put something darker in the center of my lips when I have a lighter, more translucent gloss like this. Otherwise, my lips do look a little bit funny. I'm gonna take this this NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Summer Fruit. I'm pretty sure this version of it has been discontinued. These are very, very, very pigmented, so I like to use these to create gradient looks. Just so that there is something in the center of my lips and there's some dimension. Okay, so I'm not happy with this look, but it is done. So I do have another video to film after this, so I get to enjoy this makeup, this not so great makeup look for another video. So I don't know what's going on with my skin. Like, I really don't know why I cannot seem to get my makeup to look good. It's just been such an ongoing problem. I even used a foundation I liked today. It looked so good, and then yet again, not even 5 to 10 minutes later, it just becomes a dry, textured, breaking apart kind of mess. I don't understand what is going on. Okay, so this is going to be my finished look. Here is how everything turned out. It is just really, really depressing. I feel like my makeup used to look so good, and lately it has just not looked good at all. So hopefully I can figure it out someday, but I'm really hoping that this isn't just my new normal. I'm really hoping that I can get this under control. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm already starting to see the beginning of some creasing into my wrinkles, especially on the lower lash line. I feel like I'm starting to already see a little bit of some misbehaving eyeshadow on my lower lash line because, you know, I'm starting to get fine lines under there apparently, and I'm starting to see, like, if I pull down, I'm starting to see what feels like some creasing. But thankfully, my lower lash line, it's not really super obvious if things crease down there, but we'll see how this wears. It's 5:45 p.m. right now, so I've got plenty of time to see how this looks. I've already worn this eyeshadow for about like an hour now already. I have another video to film after this, so we'll see. So in the meantime, please do take care. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.